Our next speaker is Nilsa Ramirez, and of course many of us know her very well. Nilsa, going back in her CV, completed her undergraduate and medical studies at the University of Puerto Rico. Let me just take a moment to say, we talked earlier today, you have friends and family in Puerto Rico. We wish them well, and I hope we can generate a response similar to the response generated in Houston, where things got back up pretty quickly. So we wish your family and your friends well in Puerto Rico, and we can't forget what's going on down there. Nilsa completed her residency and fellowship at Wayne State University, joined Nationwide Children's Hospital in 2006, where she has held numerous positions and currently is Director of Surgical Pathology in the Department of Pathology and Laboratory Medicine, and an Associate Professor of Clinical Pathology at Ohio State University School of Medicine. She is Medical Director of the Biopathology Center at the Research Institute at Nationwide Children's Hospital. She is also Medical Director of Ohio State's Pathologist Assistant Program and participates in teaching medical and dental students at OSU, residents and fellows in pediatric pathology, and she teaches us. Dr. Ramirez is board certified in anatomic pathology, has subspecialty training in gynecologic, obstetrical, and perinatal pathology, and most importantly, and for SWOG, Nilsa is the corresponding PI of our U24 grant that funds the SWOG Biospecimen Bank, and I would say that JR is another one of the PIs, and he manages most of the TM with the bank, so it's from SWOG side, so I thank you, JR, but to me, it's a complete mystery. So I really look forward to your talk to learn a lot more about what happens at the bank. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm here to basically talk to you about this wonderful resource that we have, which is the Biospecimen Bank for SWOG. And I'm going to give you a little bit of information about it, some background information. In 2011, the 4 SWOG biospecimen resources were consolidated into one resource house at the Biopathology Center that's part of the Research Institute at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus, Ohio. And in 2015, the name was changed from SWOG Specimen Repository to SWOG Biospecimen Bank. The reason we did that was to harmonize it with the other NCTN banks sponsored by the NCI. So now all the banks have similar names. The SWOG Biospecimen Bank is funded by the NCI via a U24 grant, and at this time we are on year 2 of a 5-year cycle that started in 2015. The grant has 3 PIs, and we work under the direction of Dr. Blanke. Dr. Ellis also supports our efforts, providing expert scientific and administrative advice as needed. For the 3 PIs, Dr. Jimmy Ray is SWOG's executive officer, and he acts as a liaison between SWOG leadership, the disease committees, and the bank. Dr. Julie Gasteyer-Foster, who's sitting here on the second row, is the director of the SWOG Leukemia and Myeloma Bank, and she also oversees nucleic acid extractions. I'm the contact PI and the director of the Biospecimen Bank, and in that role I oversee the administration on the bank and also the solid tumor bank. So our team at the bank routinely interacts with SWOG leadership and with the SWOG Statistics and Data Management Center. So, for example, we have phone conferences that take place every other week between our team and Nathan Erickson, who is SWOG's Chief of Administration, Edie Van Putten, who is SWOG's Contract and Regulatory Issues Specialist, and other members of their team to discuss ongoing matters related to numerous projects that we have that are ongoing. Members of our team also participate in the weekly SWOG executive conference calls. During these types of meetings, members of our team meet face-to-face with representatives of SWOG leadership and also representatives of the Statistics and Data Management Center to discuss the progress of ongoing projects, planned for future projects, We also have discussed administrative, operational, and scientific issues that are related to our efforts. Other thing, for example, the SWOG Biospecimen Bank is also a member of the NCI-sponsored Group Banking Committee and has 4 representatives in the steering committee. I listed them here: Dr. Ray, Julie Gastar Foster, Birbalo from Statistics, and myself. So regarding the Biopathology Center, which is the center that houses the SWOG Biospecimen Bank, our operations are largely supported by the NIH and the NCI via grants and contracts. The primary objective of the BPC is the long-term acquisition and storage of large number of biospecimens and related data for the purpose of supporting cutting-edge research. We have 120 employees, and they have different backgrounds, as listed here, that contribute to our numerous efforts. We also support several NCI-sponsored NCTN trials, NCI-sponsored genomic studies that is under, through our Biospecimen Core resource, and internal nationwide children's projects. So here is just an example of some of the adult and pediatric efforts that we support. As you can see, not only are we affiliated with SWOG in that sense, but we also support the Biospecimen Bank of the Children's Oncology Group and part of the Biospecimen Bank of Energy Oncology. What used to be the GOG was in Columbus for many years and is now part of Energy Oncology. So those are the basically our 3 core grants that stay there at the Biopathology Center. So the scope of activities of the Biopathology Center, I just wanted to highlight some of them to you. We store over 4 million biospecimens in our system. About 850,000 of those are part of the SWOG Biospecimen Bank and include FFPE, glass slides, and FFPE and frozen tissue blocks, and also body fluids. We distribute over 50,000 approved biospecimens every year to academic and commercial investigators across the US and overseas. We receive close to 1,000 biospecimens a day from more than 500 national and international institutions. The BPC, and that includes the SWOG Biospecimen Bank, is accredited by the College of American Pathologists Biorepository Accreditation Program. We were one of the first programs to be accredited in the country. And some components of our operation are also accredited by the College of American Pathologists Laboratory Accreditation Program and certified by CLIA for patient-related testing. We're also involved in scientific publications that include biospecimen processing, banking, and regulatory issues. And these are things that are the basic things that a biorepository does. We also have numerous affiliations within our institution, and we are closely aligned with the NCH Institute for Genomic Medicine. So this allows us to take advantage of all the services that that particular institute offers, and that also can be shared with the different groups that we support, including SWOG. So what takes place at the SWOG Biospecimen Bank? Well, to start with, we bank. And we support research efforts involving various types of biospecimens, like tissue, body fluid, nucleic acid, and virtual images. Regarding our banking activities, we can provide various storage modalities, for example, frozen and ambient, in secure facilities, and the specimens are monitored 24/7. So it is really something that takes advantage of the technologies that are available these days to be sure that their specimens are constantly being monitored and that nothing is going to affect their composition. We have about, we actually have a 30,000 square feet facility in the hospital campus and a separate 9,500 square facility about 7 miles away in the Tech Columbus complex on Kinnear Road. And the hospital, the way we have our banks divided, the hospital facility houses the SWOG Leukemia and Myeloma Bank, and the SWOG Solid Tumor Bank is housed at the Kinnear facility. And it has to do with the how do we decide what goes where, has to do when, how many tests, and what type of testing each group of specimens needs. So it was decided that it was a lot easier to have the Leukemia and Myeloma Bank in closer to the facilities that were doing the testing on a routine basis, and the solid tumors then could be transported to those eventually, taking a little bit more time. This seems to be that these samples have to be tested at a faster rate than the solid tumor samples in general. Regarding services, we also offer biospecimen processing options. For example, tissue microarray creation, histochemical and immunohistochemical stains, laser capture microdissection, and nucleic acid extractions. So these are basically things that you find in complex biorepositories. And in addition to the more classic services that you will expect in a biobank, like specimen receiving and distribution services and clinical trial support, we provide more specialized services like molecular genetics and cytogenetics clinical testing in CAP-accredited and CLIA-certified laboratories. The benefit of this is that the results of those tests can be used for patient care. We're also involved in regulatory issues to be sure that our specimens collections are handled properly and under the appropriate regulatory guidelines. So clinical trial support. The SWOG Bank provides support during different stages of clinical trial development. For example, we can assist with budget development, and once the trial opens, provide biospecimen collection kits to the clinical sites that can be ordered electronically using our kit ordering application. And at this time, we provide kits for 9 active SWOG trials. The SWOG Biospecimen Bank has the capabilities to archive digital images of stain slides using virtual microscopy. These images can be used later for diagnostic purposes, QA/QC, or can be exported for outside review or teleconferencing. We have state-of-the-art equipment that allows us to scan 1,040x images in 24 hours or 2,620x images in 24 hours. That's a lot. So if you have a study and you're in a time constraint, please don't show up the day before, but we can do it, we can work with you and get these things done in a very timely manner. We have our software, we have Viper. This is something that was developed by us many years ago. And it's a custom-built web-based application that is designed to provide pathologists with all necessary information to perform digital reviews. It provides whole slide images, pathology reports, and other reports, as well as customized entry forms. And this allows reviewers to securely review and capture pertinent information, including data entry and image annotations. We were very successful using this for the Cancer Genome Atlas. This is how all the slide reviews that were done for the Cancer Genome Atlas were used using this software. And the pathologists were very happy because it really is very, very helpful to have all the information in front of you. You don't have to do things on the side on a piece of paper, and then you have to go on the computer, and then you have to get your slide out of the microscope and move it because everything is there in front of you. The system also notifies reviewers when they are assigned cases, provides a personalized homepage with all outstanding cases, including the status of these cases, and then notifies the biomedical imaging team when the work has been completed. And this is, again, a system that is used by many of our reviewers, not only SWOG, but in other groups. And it is really very helpful, especially those that do central review that have a limited 24 hours or 72 hours after the patient is enrolled to do the review of the slides. So it really expedites things for them. Now, I know you have questions about our services, so I'm going to answer some of them with a couple of examples. So here we have a co-investigator of a correlative science study integrated into the clinical trial design. And he or she requests biospecimens for the pre-approved study. Well, in this particular scenario, a list of biospecimens selected by the Statistics and Data Management Center is submitted to the bank. The bank biospecimens are then processed and forwarded to the investigator following the instructions noted on the protocol. Now, there is no fee for this specific type of bank processing because it is covered by the U24 grant. However, if what you're asking is highly specialized, expensive, or onerous biospecimen processing, the work should be supported by the trial or correlative science study budget, which is determined prior to the start of the study. In this other scenario is exactly what Dr. Ellis talked about at the beginning of this session, is something that pertains to the use of legacy biospecimens. The investigator wants to use clinical trial biospecimens remaining after the completion of a primary correlative science study. And the reality is that in some cases, those biospecimens are remaining after completion of the trial-associated correlative science, and they can be available for secondary use in other correlative science studies, and these are commonly referred to as legacy biospecimens. At least this is how the NCI wants us to refer to them. People have different names for them, but when we say legacy biospecimens, this is basically what we're talking about. And it's important to remember that an investigator doesn't need to be associated with an NCTN group to request the use of this particular biospecimens. And this is something that is out there in the community, and they always say, well, if I'm not a SWOG member or a COG member, I cannot use the specimens. That's not the way it works with these legacy biospecimens. In this case, there is a scientific merit review process that is required for research proposals before access to specimens is granted. And in this setting, the biospecimen processing and distribution is associated with a fee for service because this is not covered by the U24. U24 covers up to the banking of the specimen, but the distribution for this particular type of projects needs to be paid for. So if you're interested in requesting legacy biospecimens, as it was also highlighted by Dr. Ellis, please visit the SWOG website and find the link under collaborative use of specimens for translational medicine research. That's the link there. And once a proposal is approved by SWOG, the investigator needs to apply to the NCTN Core Correlative Science Committee. This is the information, again, that Dr. Ellis mentioned earlier, and my understanding is that at this time, the protocol coordinator of the SWOG Disease Committee will assist the investigator with the application process. In the near future, and now the near future is early 2018, a new mechanism will be instituted in response to the NCTN group reorganization and feedback from the research community. The NCTN Biospecimen Front Door Service and Biospecimen Navigator tool will greatly improve the efficiency and transparency of the biospecimen request process for the entire cancer research community. NCTN Front Door staff will be the one that will guide the investigators through biospecimen query, application, and the regulatory filing procedure. Finally, the web-based navigator tool will allow investigators to independently query the NCTM Bank biospecimens that meet their criteria, so they can track their request through the review and approval process. So in that sense, this type of review will be out of the hands of the group and more in the hands of this particular group. Now, the group is still going to have input on this. Different members of the groups referred to in the system as concierge will be, in the concierge service will be also involved and will assist the front door staff with this process. So if you have any you need any additional information, please contact us with any questions related to the bank operation and services. We should be able to answer your questions or point you in the right direction. I put the emails, my email, and also Erin Grundy, who's the SWOG coordinator. Erin, can you stand up? This is Erin. She knows everything. This is it. She's 5 feet tall. Oh, on a good day. So please feel free to contact us. Again, myself, Erin, Dr. Julie Gastar Foster, if you're interested in anything that pertains to molecular genetics or the lymphoma, the leukemia myeloma bank. And we will help you with any questions that you have. This is a wonderful resource. It is a bank, it's not a museum. I like to see things move. Another thing that I like to say is things take time. If you need something next week, it's not going to happen. If you need specimens and you have some time constrictions in your grant or your funding, you need to contact us as soon as possible. It's not a vending machine. It's not going to come out really fast like that. But we understand the concerns that people have. We're all in the same boat. We know that you have limitations. We know that sometimes you have the money for a short period of time, and you really have to do a lot with a lot of time restrictions. Which reminds me, the holidays are coming. And this is another time of the year which we get a lot of very anxious people because stuff happens the last day of the year where there's Thanksgiving, Christmas, all kinds of holidays in the middle. And when you look at how many working days we have available, it's not really 2 months. It's less than that. So I just want to encourage you to use this service, please. It's there for your use, and we take good care of it. But we want to see the number of specimens move, and we want to see also, again, if you have any questions regarding how to store the samples, or you heard that somebody's doing something special somewhere and you think that this may be something you may want to do, maybe we can help you with that. If we don't know about it, we will look into it, and we can probably even recommend somebody that is very knowledgeable about the topic that can help you with that. Okay? Thank you.